So I'm here in Labagoumen Primeval Forest. It's May the 15th, my birthday, and I've caught one of the most biologically interesting snakes in the world, in my opinion. It may be familiar to a lot of you, as it's the source of many internet memes between the use of the words venom and poison. As it happens, this is both venomous and poisonous, and it is actually a poisonous snake. So its name is Rhabdophis tigrinus. In Chinese, here it's a tiger-striped neck groove snake. In Japan, it's called the Yamakagashi, and it's a colubrid of the Natricine family, so the same family as grass snakes from Europe and Rhabdophis garter snakes from America. And it's actually one of the most common snakes around Beijing, which is where we are at the moment. In fact, I've seen about 7 or 8 of them in my trip here so far. May seems to be a good month for them. So as you can see, it's got sort of flame orange spots on its neck, which it'll expand. It'll even hood a little bit like a cobra if it's really threatened, although to be honest, this one is extremely docile, which I found is a bit of a running theme for this species. They seem to be very docile. They don't really try and bite or hiss or strike at all. In fact, in the 1960s, they were sold in the UK as pets for children because nobody really knew that they were actually venomous and poisonous back then. And to be honest, I'd be quite happily free handling this, although I won't, obviously, to set a good example, but it's a very docile snake. They don't really bite. They're a bit like handling grass snakes from the UK. So we get the first bit out of the way. It is venomous. It has a prothrombin activator in the venom, which will cause blood to leak continuously from your orifices. It's not particularly pleasant. You can bleed from your gums, your pee blood or black blood. You'll have bloody stools. It's basically something you don't really want to get bitten by if you can at all avoid it. There's only one antivenom, which is made in Japan, but the problem is that you would also need transfers of serum, platelets and so on, and because it thins the blood so much, intravenous medication can actually leak out of the blood vessels along with the blood. But that's not the really interesting thing about this species. What really sets this snake apart is that it also sequesters toxins from certain toads here in Asia, which are known as bufadienolides. And what it does, it absorbs these venoms when it eats toads, which are its main prey, and then it will exude the toxins from the nuchal glands along the nape of its neck. So it acts as a deterrent to predators or anything that might want to eat it. It's really biologically interesting species because not only does it absorb these bufadienolides as it eats toads, if it doesn't eat toads, it won't be poisonous. So there is an island near Japan called Kinkazan Island where there are no toads, only a species of ranid frog. And there, the snakes are not actually poisonous, although of course they're still venomous. What's interesting there is that the actual defense mechanisms between the mainland animals and the Kinkazan Island animals will actually differ. So the Kinkazan Island snakes, which don't have poison, are much more likely to flee. They won't sort of exhibit any of the escape behaviors that the mainland animals might, although to be honest, this one hasn't exhibited anything. But what you might expect to see with an aggressive individual is the snake hissing, coiling, exposing the red areas on its neck, sort of flattening them out, even hooding someone like a cobra. What really makes this interesting, though, is that the mother snakes can actually provide a measure of protection for her babies. So obviously a mother snake eating toads is equipped to be poisonous, but when a baby is born, it has to eat toads to be able to get that poison, to get the benefits of that defense. And what has been shown is that the babies will actually absorb the toxin from the mother. So if the mother eats toads, she can pass the toxins along to her unborn babies. Even more interesting is that the babies can absorb toxins through the eggshell. So once they lay eggs, if you mark the eggshell with the toxin, they will actually be born poisonous. So they're born with that measure of defense. Okay, and we're just going to put this little fellow back now, but it's a really interesting snake. And really, really nice to see. I mean, they're quite common here. I've seen a few before, but it's...
Okay.
So I'm just going to put this little Rhabdophis back. So one of the things I sort of forgot to say is that they have one unique defense behavior, which is called neck arching. So obviously they've got the bright red spots on their neck. And what they will sometimes do, again, although this one isn't really prone to doing it, is they will arch the neck to present the neck as a target to the predator. And since that's where the nuchal glands are, that is where the poison is. And supposedly it will be very distasteful to the predator. It can make eyes burn. Now there's another species in this genus called Rhabdophis subminiatus, which another researcher called Kevin Messenger has actually witnessed spurt the poison out of the nuchal glands itself. So it'll actually rupture the nuchal glands and spray it out in aerosol form, which is a very unique behaviour. I don't think it's been documented in tigrinus, although there's nothing to say that it won't happen. Now here in this particular stream, I've seen several species of amphibian which no doubt it will prey on. So you've got Bufo gargarizans, which is the Asiatic toad, very similar to our common toad in the UK. I've also seen two species of frogs. So there's Rana chensinensis, which is the Asian brown frog, or the Chinese brown frog, which is again almost identical to our common frog. And we've got Pelophylax nigromaculatus, which is the black spotted water frog, which is very similar to a marsh frog, although maybe slightly more attractive. Anyway, let's let this snake go, because they are actually semi-aquatic. They swim quite a lot. So if you put it in the water, you should be able to see it swimming away. Ready? Off you go.